Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen wrapping up a 4-day trip to China. That's the latest high-profile member of the administration to visit Beijing. Yellen said talks with her Beijing counterparts were constructive and relations between the world's two largest economies are on surer footing, in her words. Joining us right now for more is Jim McGregor. He's the Greater China Chairman at APCO Worldwide, APCO Worldwide. Jim, want to join you, welcome you this morning, and just ask what you think about how things went, if we are in a situation where things have cooled down at this point or not.
I think they went as well as can be expected. Let's put this in some context. From Obama and going back, we had dozens of dialogues with China, and often they were quite not productive because it was all about details. And so those dialogues all disappeared during Trump and into the Biden administration, and we have a relationship based on mutual dependency and mistrust, so we have to be talking. And so China responded positively to her coming. The new leadership under Xi Jinping of the economic side of China all met with her. They talked positively. Our relationship has gotten so in such a dark stage that something like this is progress.
Yeah, stuff like this is progress just because things didn't get worse?
Well, because we're talking. Hopefully, hopefully this channel will turn into more talking. There's a personal relationship there. Both sides face a lot of politics at home. I mean, the members of Congress are saying that he was, that he's that by going, you shouldn't be going because it puts off us being able to take actions against China. Congressman Gallagher from the select committees calls this zombie engagement, that we're just going to be talking and we won't be able to criticize China so we can have more talks. I hope we don't go back to that because we did that in the past.
What are the hot button topics? I mean, some of the stuff I read over the weekend said it was because she used words like diversifying, not decoupling, making sure that we're not de-risking things, that we're still going to be together even if we are trying to diversify our options and our supply chain. Is it that? Is it Taiwan? What are the, or is it the actual things that we've done, like ban some of the semiconductor sales there?
Yes, all of the above, actually. I was interested to see her use the word diversifying because China hates de-risking because that portrays China as a very risky place to be for business. And I thought it was I hadn't really heard the administration use diversifying much before. And she was very focused on that. But she also was kind of readying China for future actions, saying they will be narrowly targeted. They will be aimed at protecting our national security. They won't be aimed at hurting the Chinese economy and hurting Chinese progress. She was kind of getting ready for what may come next. We're going to have to see where this goes. China's now got troubles. Their economy's not doing well. It's not doing well at all. And when I talk to friends Chinese friends running businesses there, they're not very happy on the way things are going. Consumers are not spending. Real estate is in the doldrums. So China needs to be talking to us, and we actually need to be talking to China, but it's got to be on equal footing.
That was one of the things we've talked about earlier in the show is the weaker than expected PPI numbers, the weaker than expected CPI numbers. The PPI numbers actually showing in China a decline in inflation. People are reading that as just weakness in the economy and the reopening not going as expected. How big of an issue is that for them?
Well, it's a very big issue. It's all about the economy, well, in every country, but especially China. The way you keep the allegiance of the Chinese people is they have opportunities, they can make money, and they can live a better life. And we're now at a turning point because they're meeting the middle income trap. And you'll notice a couple of months ago, Xi Jinping was talking about you got to struggle, you got to be able to be tough and get through this. This is a population that's lived pretty well for about better and better over 30 years. I don't know how much they want to struggle. They want a good life. And China's now very focused on rebuilding this economy and moving forward. And the U.S. has to be, they have to be friendly with the U.S. in order to do that. It's a fraught relationship, and we got to see where we can go.
So is it fair to think that Ant Financial, that they really are making it through the regulatory period because Chinese regulators aren't going to want to continue to crack down on successful companies there?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, one of the key things that Xi Jinping is focused on is not letting capital have power. He doesn't want people with money to have power in China, which is an interesting concept. Anywhere else in the world, money's got a lot of power. And Ant Financial is kind of at the forefront of that. And, you know, Ant has been disciplined, and I think they'll do whatever the government wants. But I'm not sure how loose the government's going to be with business. They just called in a bunch of the big companies to talk to them. I think they want them fully on board and doing what the party wants.
Jim, there are certain individuals that think that the whole Taiwan issue is going to happen sooner rather than later. There's others that say it could be 2040 or something even. What you just said sounds like it's in China's best interest to keep the status quo because they need us. And that almost implies that we do have some I mean, we can actually make a difference. Our efforts in stopping that could actually make a difference. We could cause China to not do that, to bend to our will almost. Do you see it that way, or are they going to do what they want? Is it going to be near term?
They'll do what is well, I don't know. China will do what's in its best interest, but you never know when it comes to Taiwan. I look at Taiwan as something that we have to, you know, if the U.S. supports Taiwan, we should support Taiwan and we should help Taiwan, but we should be quiet about it. All these congressional delegations going there all the time and kind of poking their finger in Xi Jinping's eyes are not helpful for the Taiwanese people. You know, I was a reporter there for the Wall Street Journal back in the 80s, so I follow it quite closely.